Okay, so this is just a quick video to explain or just to talk through a transit that we're going to be working with and living with for the next, really the best part of 3 years. Saturn is moving into Pisces tomorrow, and that will be the 7th of March 2023. And it's going to stay there pretty much the whole time until February 2026, when it will move out of Pisces for good. It's going to jump into Aries for a bit in 2025, but with the retrogrades, it's going to go back and forward a bit. So we're working with this new energy, and as Saturn is one of the outer planets and the more slower moving planets, it does affect us all. So this is quite a major transit, and it's the first of quite a few events in March 2023 that are going to be quite significant. So Saturn in the chart and in astrology is basically the planet of responsibility and hard work. Saturn wants us to do the legwork, to put in the effort, to really grind away, but with the promise that if we do put in the work and, make a really big effort, we will be rewarded. So in your chart, Saturn is where you are being asked to be more responsible, to maybe grow up a little bit. Saturn is about maturity. It's about mastery as well. It's also where we can feel limited or restricted, because Saturn it's a taskmaster, but it also Saturn loves boundaries, so it might be where we feel restricted, where we've got boundaries that we have to navigate in life, and really it's very Capricornian energy in its sort of home sign, so which is about sort of reaching the top, feeling wanting to achieve, looking for success. Oh, I've got a doggy coming to join me. So yeah, it's so it can feel challenging, and this is where we do have lessons to work through. But Saturn has been moving through Aquarius for the best part of 3 years, and I did a video about that very recently, so look that up if you've not seen it before. But as it's moving into Pisces, this is a very, very different energy, and when I explain to you what Pisces represents, you're going to understand why. This Saturn and Pisces are not compatible energies at all, and so it's kind of a bit of a spanner in the works, to say it nicely or not. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It is a water sign. So when I've been talking about Saturn and its boundaries and its structure, Pisces is the polar opposite. There is no structure with Pisces. It's a water sign. It's about being in the flow. When you have Pisces in your chart, it's where you're being asked to sort of step into unity consciousness and be at one with everything. And so Pisces doesn't do boundaries. Pisces is a very mystical sign. It's the sign of the soul, of the spirit. Pisceans can be very sensitive, very psychic, very sort of tuned in to their environment and to what's around them and to the world at large as well. And Pisces also rules things like our dreams. It rules the media and sort of movie world. Illusion is very Piscean. Also things like toxins and poisons and medications kind of come under Pisces remit. So, if we've got a really high sort of Pisces in its sort of higher expression, is very spiritual. Obviously, religion and faith is a very Piscean theme. But it can be chaotic and very confusing as well, because it's not always very clear what is real and what is not when you step into sort of Piscean territory. So Saturn moving into Pisces is going to be quite tricky to navigate. It's going to throw up quite a lot of themes and things for us to work with, because Saturn is, as I've said, is the taskmaster. It's like, okay, now we're going to move through this sign, which incidentally is the final sign of the zodiac. So there's likely to be a lot of karmic things coming up to be worked through and released. And Pisces is very much about letting go, because, you know, you basically don't want to take anything with you into the next cycle. So when you're working through Pisces, it is about letting go of what no longer serves you. So things tend to dissolve when Pisces is active. So we're going to be working with a few different themes. So Saturn is going to bring structure to that which does not have structure. And when you're thinking about Pisces, you know, that is the unseen. So that is the spiritual, that is healing modalities, that's energy work. So we may find that actually we get more validation of how it works and how beneficial it is. And we may find that people are moving away from the more conventional sort of medicines, pharmaceuticals, medications in favor of alternative healing methods. So, and again, they've always been called alternative, but you know, with this transit, we may find that actually they become more conventional, and certainly there's more evidence for their effectiveness. We may find that our dreams no longer remain dreams and actually can become reality. So, you know, there's a possibility that we might be manifesting more effectively, more efficiently, more quickly. And so we're going to have to be careful what we wish for and what we say and what we put out there for. Sorry, my dogs are really active this evening, lots of padding around. We may also find that Saturn is going to have its boundaries and structures dissolve. So some of the structures that we've been used to, we may find are no longer there. They just sort of disappear. And we may find that brings a greater sense of freedom. But for those who haven't learnt their lessons, you may find that you are having more tests and challenges when it comes to boundaries. So there can be sort of a higher and a lower expression of this energy. We are going to find, hopefully, that we are thinking of each other and our world and our reality in a much more unified way, because Pisces is the sign of unity and of the oneness. So we may find that the sort of boundaries and barriers between different people, different races, different genders, different cultures and everything, where, you know, there's been division, that may start to fade away and dissolve, which would be amazing. And because we, you know, we can start to see that we are actually all one, and we're all connected. We may find that there's a lot more water around, because Pisces is a water sign. So we may find, you know, we've got more flooding, which unfortunately we've already been experiencing a lot lately. We may find that, you know, the water is very cleansing. We may have more tears, there may be more emotions, we may be feeling more sensitive than usual. There may be information coming up, and, you know, we may find that it's almost like we're in a sea of information, almost overwhelmed, like a flood or a wave of information. You know, and that can be related to some of the Piscean themes. So like the media, movies, pharmaceuticals, drugs, you know, all those sorts of themes, even spirituality, religion, all those things are likely to be in the spotlight. We might find, as I said, if there's in a sea or flood of information, that's going to potentially bring confusion and a sense of, you know, what's right and what's wrong. It's going to be possibly hard to know what to believe. And a lot of people may feel that they just want to escape. So, you know, there might be more drug use, people sort of trying to check out from their reality, because they're not really, you know, it's almost like they can't ground themselves or anchor themselves because it's going to be so quite nebulous. And they might also feel cut off from their reality and from the world. There's also a possibility that, you know, like I say, where we are being encouraged to sort of master our spirituality ourselves. The lower expression of that is people will sort of be looking for someone to come and save them. So that savior complex and looking outside of themselves. And, you know, we may find a complete restructuring of our faith systems, you know, our religions. You know, anything is possible. So again, it's hard to know what is going to happen. It'll be interesting to look back in 3 years' time to see what Saturn has taught us. But it is definitely going to be a test of our reality, and how that sort of presents itself, you know, we'll have to wait and see. But we're also going to have to really surrender to a lot of change. Pisces is a mutable sign, so it's really going to be about, you know, don't be attached. Don't get fixated with things. You know, if things are changing, if things are dissolving, if things are leaving your life, try not to grab hold of them and hold on too tight, because just trust that they are meant to be leaving and that this is for your highest good. I would imagine that the majority of us are seeking a higher meaning for life, you know, and asking the questions, why are we here? What's it all about? That sort of thing. And there's also this possibility that, you know, with this whole illusion, you know, delusion, we may find that we have the veils removed. So we might be seeing things that we couldn't see before. And maybe things that we thought were real, we're going to find out that they weren't. And vice versa, things that we have always sort of questioned or not been sure or thought, you know, is that just make believe? Actually, no, it is real. So like the fantasy world could become a more of a reality. You know, actually the possibilities are quite endless, especially with Piscean, you know, because it is endless. There are no, Pisces knows no bounds. So it's going to be a really interesting time. Yeah. But I hope you found that useful. Sorry, the light's a bit weird. I'm kind of sitting in the dark, and I know the glare on my glasses isn't great, but thank you so much for watching. I'm Louise at Spiral Bright Insight, and yeah, it's great to connect. Thank you.